Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Intuitive Soul Rising, where I share channeled messages for soul growth, alignment, and ascension. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment now to hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the right bottom of the screen, and don't forget to hit the notification bell also so you can be notified as soon as new content is released. There's a lot happening right now, energetically speaking, and so the purpose of this message is to help us all align with the shifts and changes and the energies and frequencies coming in. We have the solstice energy that just ended yesterday. So today is June 22nd when I'm recording, and we just had the summer solstice, which was June 21st yesterday. So those energies are starting to die down, but we have this five planetary alignment happening in the sky right now, and the 5 planets are Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And basically, if you look in the early morning sky right before sunset, or sunrise, you can see these 5 planets forming kind of in a row in full alignment with each other. So this is a rare occurrence, and the last time it happened was 2004, but it's not going to happen again until 2040. So a lot happening in the skies, and again, a lot happening energetically speaking. So I really felt guided because I've been getting a lot of messages coming in from the dragons, and if you haven't seen my latest channeling with them, please do check it out on my YouTube channel. The dragons, message for ascension, truths and revelations, all about the summer solstice energy that was coming in and what is being revealed and what is happening that we need to be aware of. I've been working with the dragons a lot because their frequency is really strong on the planet right now, and they're bringing in new light codes and information as well that's going to help us all to remember and awaken. But today I have a new guide who recently stepped forward during one of my live mediumship group practices that I host every Thursday at 12:30 Eastern Time on my private Facebook group, which is also called Intuitive Soul Rising. If you're interested in joining that group, the link is in the descriptions box below. But basically, this session took place on June 9th, and there was a group of 4 of us that were channeling messages for people in the group in the comments, and someone asked a question about their elf guides, and we each pulled in information from 4 different elves that stepped forward to share messages. But one of those elves was an elder who came in very, very strongly, and he was new to all of us, but he had a really powerful message for the collective. Now, I'm in the process of trying to clip that message that was shared that day from other beings that came in after this particular guide came in, that also have to do with the planetary alignment taking place. So I'd like to share that eventually on my YouTube channel, but I've had some issues uploading and downloading and editing all of that. So it may take a little bit of time to get that up. Hopefully I'll get that up before this alignment actually takes place. But there's a lot going on again. So this particular guide, his name is Quasar. He is a galactic elf from a distant galaxy, but he works with the Galactic Council of Light, so the Galactic Federation, and he works as part of a kind of hierarchy system of elves. There's different collectives of elves, obviously from different planetary places and structures, and some of them are working on Earth in the elemental kingdom, which is also the same kingdom that the dragons are a part of. So all of the elementals really work together, but they do have specific roles and functions as how they serve Mother Earth. So this particular galactic elf is wanting to come through today to share messages about the energies that are currently happening. So and how the energies are peaking right now. So through this message is really good from now through to the end of the month. And it's going to tell a little bit about what some of the activations are taking place and what some of these shifts and changes are occurring on the planet and how we can best align with these frequencies. Before I bring him in, he did pull some cards today to get into a little more detail about these activations and then the different energies and way forward for us as we are all on our individual ascension paths, but also what's going on with Mother Earth particularly and how this might affect us as a collective. Another thing I'd like to share about this planetary alignment is that it's already happening, but it's going to peak in visibility on June 24th, which is Friday. And you'll be able to see this alignment most clearly just before sunrise in the southeast sky. And that June 24th also happens to be another 666 portal activation day, which would be the third one that took place this month. So again, a lot of energies, a lot happening. And when I first tuned in to Quasar before I came on here, I was clearly hearing this is a time of great change. And he was calling it the Great Purge, the Great Deluge of information, and the Great Truth Reset. So a very important time for humanity and a very important time for ascension. Okay, so I'm going to bring in Quasar now. He's here already, but I'm going to tune more to his frequency. And he has a very strong energy, and it comes in right through the heart chakra, the back of the heart chakra, and aligns in the middle with like the solar plexus as well. So I just want to see what he would like to share right now, if there's anything else he would like to share about this great purge, great truth reset. He's just saying much is to be revealed, many changes to come, many earth changes, physical changes, lots of shifts in energy. The vortexes, the vortice points where the ley lines intersect at the sacred sites that are on Earth, at the like the Earth's planetary grid, it's coming more into alignment in frequency and charge. So there's more of a stronger energetic connection between all of these sacred sites and vortice points, which is basically allowing a portal to open up to receive these downloads from the stargates that are within the constellations, the portals that are contained within the placement of the constellations and the way the constellations are. They create energetic portals around the earth that bring in these high vibrational frequency light codes from different star systems and galaxies he's showing. So he's saying it's like the big deluge is what he's calling it, is symbolic of the great rain. It's we're being flooded. It's almost like he's showing it almost like the days of Noah's Ark. And he's saying the truth will set you free, but he's showing it as if like the water gates opened up in these heavenly portals, and these light codes and higher frequencies are literally being poured down upon us. They're flooding our planet right now, and they're causing a great deluge, a great flood of information. So that's what he's saying when he's saying more is to come, more is to be revealed, because these light codes are activating everybody. They're turning on all the neurons, all the switches, all the dormant DNA codes, where people are beginning to remember who they are and how they are connected to the divine and how they are connected to the oneness of the all, and how we are connected. Unity, he's highlighting, but how we're connected to our star brothers and sisters, starseed awakenings. Great awakenings are taking place. This is a time of great awakening, change, and purging. It's a purging process he's showing. So as this new information comes in, as this flood of information comes in, it's literally going to rush like a river, cleansing, clearing, and purifying all that it touches. And it's going to clear out all the debris, all of the blockages in the system, in the artery system he's showing. So it is as if the water on earth is conscious and alive, and it contains the blood of earth. It contains the DNA of earth. So these light codes interacting or being absorbed into the water, the physical water of earth, Mother Earth is causing this water to spread, this knowledge to spread far and wide, and it is revealing much truth. But it is also causing much destruction in its path, in the sense that it's clearing out and cleansing and purifying the vibration of Mother Earth to one that aligns with these higher frequencies. So that means that a lot of clearing work is needed. And this is also part of the healing work that the collective is doing on a more conscious level. He's saying the light workers are raising in frequency and more consciously working to heal the wounded parts of the collective consciousness and of the earth grid. He's saying to light these spots up again, so these energies can meet as one and work their magic, is what he's showing. So the magic of frequency and vibration and sound, as this message spreads far and wide to all corners and reaches of the earth. The message is now being shouted in more intensity, so all the masses can hear. So it's really a turning point for our recall. He's showing our recall centers, which is our brains. He's saying our memory centers, which is our recall centers, our brains, our neurological pathways are opening up so that we can receive this information through our crown chakra in a way that is going to help us see very clearly what is truth and what is false, what is truth and what is illusion, what is real and what is fake, and how to live in alignment with the higher truths. So it's a gift of wisdom, he's calling it. These downloads are a gift of intelligent wisdom from our Creator and the Creator beings that serve us from other planets and planetary structures and galaxies, he's showing. So all are coming from all over the galaxy to bear witness and serve this collective uplifting of humanity at this time. We are ready to bring in more of these galactic energies and codes, and that is what the elementals are here helping us to do. So as we raise in frequency, the elementals raise with us, so their higher selves start to get activated as well, and these higher councils of light that consist that work with the elemental kingdoms, like the Galactic Council of Light, or I don't know if that's what he's calling it, but he's showing it as like that type of hierarchy structure, are stepping in to serve the elf community and the elementals, to help them kind of awaken and reveal more of their truth, and to bring that forward in a way that helps all of us to unify. So it's really a time of unification in harmonic convergence, and that comes up in almost every message I channel, but they're really stressing that because It's sacred unity is what they're calling it. Sacred unity consciousness. Christ consciousness is another term. It's all the same thing. It represents the same thing. It's coming into that center point of wholeness and balance within and within all of our parts and structures, including the planetary structures and the grid lines, the grid structures that connect all of us energetically to each other. It's a time of heightened awakening to how this web, how we are all connected, how the universe is all connected, and how we essentially are all serving source in a sense, or channeling source energy, and kind of like that energy is kind of recycling that energy coming in and then coming out to create and birth new life and new creations in a way that aligns with the harmony frequencies of these higher dimensional planes of existence. So there's a doorway and a gateway being opened to these higher dimensional planes, and our awarenesses are being drawn to look to the stars more, to see visibly these planetary alignments, but also how what we see in the sky happening is occurring in on an inner level, on an inner plane, he's saying. Spiritually speaking, our chakras are becoming aligned and charged up. Our light bodies are becoming activated as the light body grid of Mother Earth is becoming activated. What he's showing is that one way to perceive this is that whatever is happening on Earth, we are the consciousness that represents Mother Earth's consciousness. So we are ascending in alignment with Mother Earth. So the more of us that are waking up, it's like the more of the neurons of Mother Earth's brain that are waking up and coming to life again. So we can see this starting to happen on a mass scale, on a mass level in all parts of the world and in all countries. We are stationed there as light workers and essential beings of light, here to serve the higher collective consciousness. So how you are being activated in this way, you are being called to come into alignment with the planetary structures. So he's talking about the earth grids, and to serve in union with the elemental kingdoms to help bring this frequency up, to help draw this frequency up, to help draw. I'm just trying to get a better sense of what he's showing here, so I can be more specific or clear. So we can protect the energy of the grid lines. So because through the shifts and changes to come, because these planetary alignments are here to be like a catalyst for change. So there's a lot of turmoil to come. There's a lot of shakeups and rattlings going on, a lot of earthquakes happening. We just had one, I believe last night in Afghanistan, and or this morning. That was very, very strong. One of the worst ones they've had yet, and there are more to come. The earth is getting ready to move and shake and shift and change and stretch and grow, and all of these shakeups are helping humanity on some conscious level to wake up to the truth, to the reality of who they are and why they are here and who they came to be, and how they are servers in service to and protectors of the earth. And the more we work and tune into the elemental kingdoms and the role that they play, the more we tune to the harmonic frequency of earth and this unity consciousness that is encoded in our grid lines and coming through these vorticity points at this time, to activate all of us to this remembrance, this higher remembrance of how we are all connected and serving as one. So with that, I'm going to go to the first set of cards and see what messages he wants to share, because I feel like these are, it's really relevant. I feel like this is going to give us the more information on what he's talking about, more specific information as far as like the actual activations taking place. So the deck I was guided to use for this message is the Gateway of Light Activation Oracle deck by Kyle Gray. 3 cards were pulled, and the first card in this order is, I'll put that up on the screen, Gaia Gateway Activation. The card reads, learning experiences, wisdom transmission, earth, intelligence. It's so funny because he was just saying, basically talking about this message and describing that. But one thing that is really standing out to me here, if you can see, maybe not with my light so well, but this little area here on the card is rainbow light. And one thing I have learned from the dragons is that this is the rainbow light frequency, is part of the downloads that we're receiving, part of these frequency light codes that are coming in, and they are all about remembering. So turning on our memory codes that lie dormant within our own genetic DNA, and the DNA within the planet as well, because the planet holds the DNA of its entire history, and that includes its history with the galactics and the stars, and all of the galactics that help seed and create this planet. Their information is encoded within the sacred sites of the earth, but also within the stones and the water. And all of this is helping to give birth to new light, I'm hearing. So this is the energy he was talking about. He's showing this picture of the earth. He's kind of pointing out like all these like tributaries and how the water is flowing. So he's basically already talking about this, but the earth is being activated at this time, is what he's saying. So this portal is opening up. It's all of these sacred site portals are opening up to hold more light. And through this light comes the remembrance of our connection to Mother Earth, our relationship with the water, so all of the elements, essentially the air that we breathe, the earth, the minerals, just our connection to Mother Earth is really important. And especially our connection to the elemental kingdom, because this message has come through not just from him in this moment, but it's come through to me with my own personal guides and teams. And what they've been showing me is that as much as we are wanting to remember who we are as star beings of light, and who we and how we got here, and the star races that we came from, and how they're assisting us at this time, it's just as equally important, if not more important, to really connect to the earth elementals, because this is who we are in this lifetime. This is who we are in this present moment, as the galactics represent more of where we're going and in our future lifetimes, and maybe where we came from, and what we came to bring in terms of new ways of thinking, and new consciousness. But the elemental kingdom is really who we are here to work with now, to actually make these changes happen at an accelerated rate. So they are, I believe, like, well, what dimensions are the elemental kingdoms in? They're like 3rd to 5th dimensional beings, I'm hearing, and some upwards of 7th, 6th, and 7th as well, because the unicorns they're showing me and reminding me are of 7th dimensional frequencies. They're more like source energy and magical healing energy. So the unicorns, the mermaids, the elves, the fairies, the gnomes, the list goes on. But basically connecting with them now is really important. And it's all about, he's showing like in service to our work. So it's like we have work to do, we have cleanup to do, we have groundwork to do, ground control, he's saying. This is where these elemental beings are coming in, especially the dragons, who are the frequency holders and keepers of all the ancient codes of wisdom that is being revealed. And he's showing it to not just be coming from the stars, but it's actually being released from within the core of Mother Earth. So the diamond heart, activation of Mother Earth is occurring now, where her the core of her heart is producing a diamond light frequency activation, and it's basically broadcasting a call to all the elementals and all the light workers and all who can hear and sense this call to wake up, to turn on, like mission turn on, mission activated of remembrance. So really important that we serve nature, do all that we can to support nature in her process, and to work more with our elemental guides. So get in touch with the elemental realms and see how you can utilize all of the forces of nature, and how the forces of nature work with you and through you to create and to give birth to new life that is of this fifth dimensional frequency. So really important work. Pay attention, he's saying, to the ways you're being called to serve, and connect more with the earth energy. So whether that's just going outside, praying and meditating, creating earth grids, working with going to a sacred site, and downloading information into the earth. It's really important that we pull these light codes forward and anchor them into the earth. So really wanting to not just be conscious of how we're pulling and drawing using our own breath these light codes forward through the he's showing like a Merkaba above us by the soul star chakra, pulling this light that spins above us, and then we use our breath to pull that light forward, down in through our crown, into all of our upper chakras, and then down into the heart, and then down into our lower chakras, and then into the earth soul or star chakra beneath our feet, earth star chakra beneath our feet. And this is what's going to pull that energy into Mother Earth's in the inner grid lines of Mother Earth, that is really helping her heart to awaken to this remembrance of who she is and her own ascension path. And also to make it more comfortable for her, because it's a bit of a bumpy ride right now, because, you know, there's a lot of people that still haven't got the message, and they haven't fully awakened to their own truth, and how we're all connected. So it's really important for us to serve the earth in this way, because she's in the process of giving birth, and she's about to give birth. It's like she's in labor, and she's having contractions. And with each contraction comes a supercharge of energy and a rush of energy. And so, and then the rains that are coming down, and then the form of the light codes are actually helping to cleanse, to make it like what is on the earth causing this like suffering. It's helping people to see the light, and to adjust their own frequencies to one that is more harmonic with the earth's frequency. Okay, so the next card that came out is Anunaki light codes, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. So I'm hearing we're in a period of transition, but we are at the end of a cycle in a sense. It's like we're going through like the pre-birth cycle, and now we're kind of in the more active birthing phase, if you want to relate it to birthing. And so we're full in contractions modes. Like maybe before it was like Braxton Hicks contractions, it's turning into like real contractions now. Like clock is ticking as to when this explosion of information is going to come out. And this is all related to disclosure, as far as what the truth and the revelations and the shifts and the changes are. It's really all related to knowledge, higher knowledge, ancient wisdom, what is being revealed through the media and the media sources and just the worldly news. All of that is going to start to crumble. I'm hearing media outlets and people within that journalism and within these media, these high profile media platforms are going to start speaking up more to the truth, and there's going to be more reporting of the truth in times to come. Just more is going to be revealed, so just pay attention to what you watch. But there's still a lot of falsity out there. So it's really about a reflection. Truth is a reflection of your own heart and the condition of your own heart, and how clear you're able to use your heart as a truth center for discernment, and to see really clearly the illusions, and the truth in reality and existence, and what you're being called to change or see, what is being illuminated in front of you. And it's all about what is. It's all about just exposing the reality that is, in order to then create the more desired reality. So we're going through a process of disclosure and exposing the corruption, the truth of the manipulation, the behind the scenes styles of manipulation and communication, that where how's he putting this, because I'm hearing clear agendas, where agendas and motives weren't so clear, and so honest and truthful. So really just the truths of our realities being exposed is more of that. So yeah, truth and revelation. So it feels like we're really in the period of like revelations, and end of times, end of cycle is another representative of what this card represents. And so the last card, the third card, is Star Gathering. And it says, stars aligned, remembering home, soul family. So this is a time for new connections and remembering the truth of who we are and who we came to be, and why we came to Earth at this time, and why we chose to go through this like 26,000 year cycle of ascension, and all of that. So it is a time of remembering our star brothers and sisters, and how we're related to the stars, and how they have always been helping us as our guides. And they've always been watching us, and they've always been kind of supporting us through this whole process from the beginning of this 26,000 year cycle of ascensions till now. And they've been here longer before that, but in the creation of the earth and the seeding of the earth. But this is the period, this is the cycle of humanity and ascension that we're going through right now. That's very important for their own future, and the future of their planets as well, because we all sort of affect each other, and in the way that our frequencies are shared, and that we all come into harmonic convergence or harmony with each other through the sound and vibration. So it's really all about that. Coming more into alignment with the future, higher fifth dimensional and beyond ways of thinking and perceiving, which is more about cooperation, unity consciousness again, than it is about competition, and like the sense, or what I'm hearing is one versus all. So the one versus all. So it's not me versus you. It's we're not separate at this stage of our awareness. We are all interconnected, interrelated, and what one affects the whole. So the magnitude of one affects the magnitude of the whole. The frequency or vibration of one affects the vibration of the whole. So this is really what they're wanting us to see, and that's what our galactic guides are really here to tell us and show us. They're here to show us the way to that harmonic union. The Galactic Council of Light that's what their highest mission is in serving Earth, is to help us gain access to, as ambassadors to the Galactic Council of Light, because many of us are ready for these roles in space, I guess you could say, in the galaxy, to take on this, to be kind of inducted into this council. But they really feel that they're wanting us to be ready. They're wanting us to be ready as a planet to join them in that way. So they're really helping to work with individuals who are ready in a certain way. And there's some individuals that they've very specific roles in past lifetimes working with the Galactic Council, or they have a relationship with the Galactic Council of Light, and they were seated here or planted here with very specific agendas and purposes and missions that they're going to start remembering more and more now. So yeah, there's a higher reason that we're here, and that is to birth a new consciousness, and one that is of unity and harmony with all of our galactic families and ties. So, okay, so those were the activations. That's how it's being presented to me right now. That's what these shifts and changes are representing, and what the changes to come are. So these seem to be like really the kind of like most important cards. It starts with the Earth's changes, and it's coming from the sky, and these codes are creating kind of a new cycle of information coming in. And yes, new information and energies coming in. That's going to guide us into the future and the changes that are going to be made, or we're going to be called individually and as a collective to make more consciously. So I asked for Quasar to pull a couple cards from 2 different decks. Well, he pulled 2 from the Sacred, which he chose, the Sacred Forest Oracle deck, which is a very elemental deck, but one of my favorite decks that bring in the elemental, really bring in the elemental energies flying out of my hands, by Denise Lynn. So yeah, it has a lot of power there. So whoop, that's just a good symbol of that, I guess. I'm hearing they're ready to work with us. The elementals are. Don't be scared of them. They're here. They're here, and they can make it happen. All right, so 2 cards were chosen, and this was the question I was asking for these messages was about just where's the collective at? You know, we're talking about the activations taking place, but how are these activations going to affect us? What do we need to know? So the first card that came out was the Joy card, the Hummingbird Spirit. So expect joyful outcomes, predict and project joyful outcomes, joyful experience. So the momentum of these changes taking place is really a call to serve in joy, to be in peace of mind, to be true to your nature, your higher nature at all times, to be always aligned with your higher nature. And your higher nature vibrates at a state of pure joy, love, and bliss. Excitement, get excited, he's showing. Excitement for life, like a zest for life, like just complete zest to be alive. Yes, there's a lot of changes coming. There's a lot of people that are stuck in a state of fear, anxiety, and panic. They have this like fear of the worst outcome scenario, and they're panicking. They're starting to panic. And that panic is like, if you're thinking about a mother giving birth, and the people that you have in the room while that mother's giving birth, they say the energy of everybody in that room is going to affect the mother who's giving birth. And if you're in a state of fear or panic, or you're tense or anxious about, you know, just the whole process, or scared in any way, the mother's going to feel that, and that's going to radiate through her body and make it more harder for her to do what comes natural in that process. So it's going to restrict the energy, and it's going to make it more painful and harder, is what he's showing, to birth that creation. So, or baby in that case. But what he's saying, so you want to be in joyful service. You want to be in joyful service to Mother Earth. It is so important, he's saying, for the plants and the energy of the animals and the birds. They're all holding this frequency, especially the birds, he's saying. They come with a very high vibrational frequency, a very like 6th dimensional and above frequency that they carry. And it's really important, he's saying, to vibrate the joy and love. So really take time for yourself. Do what you need to do to come back into alignment with your heart, what your heart desires. Question your values, question your mindset, question your attitude, question your beliefs, question everything you're told about life in general. What is true? What is true is peace and harmony with nature, oneness with God. The God qualities within, he's saying. Be at peace with yourself, dear ones. It is, and be in joy. It is your power. Joy is your power. Joy is your strength, because nothing can touch you. No bad juju or energy can touch someone who is vibrating at the higher states of love, bliss, and joy. So higher outcomes, expect higher outcomes. You're creating higher potentials. You're tapping into the 5th dimensional frequency codes. Get with people who are vibrating at that level, so you can also kind of share in their joy, and you vibrate with each other. You lift each other's spirits up. It's very important to participate in activities that bring you joy, but also help you to share that joy with others, spread that joy and amplify that energy. It's so important right now, he's showing. That's really the most important lesson to get out of all this, an experience to have out of all this, not the fear. He's saying, not the fear. Don't attach to the fearful aspect of what's occurring. And he's talking about fear of change, fear of unknown, because that's what's restricting the flow of the energy and causing Mother Earth to have these like painful moments where she's having to kind of break up the energy through earthquakes, he's showing, through the literal ground shaking. That's having, yes, the breaking up of the energy is helping to also release, he's saying, stuck energy. So there is a higher purpose to it, but it doesn't have to be that way. It could be more natural and more graceful. And if people weren't so holding on to their beliefs, so weren't so stuck in their old paradigms. But the paradigms are wanting to shift and are shifting, and you need to be able to go with the flow of the change without being scared of what's to come. Just complete utter trust and faith in the divine flow, the divine creator, the universal flow of energy, and look to your star guides for this feeling. They will show you the way. You are moving into a higher state of being, a more peaceful nature, and they are already there. So ask them for help when you need help tuning your frequency to that vibration. Ask them to help tune you like a tuning fork. Do your star being activations with the different races. There's so many guided meditations that you can do that work with very specific races, such as the Arcturians or Pleiadians, Orions. There's so many out there. So just tune to their frequency as much as possible to kind of help lift your spirits and get you like out of the mud, because there are some energies here that are of resistance that can really, you can get stuck in, as you're wading through the forest, as you're wading through the river, you can get stuck in the muddy parts, in the stagnant energy. And you just have to be careful of that. So ask your guides to show you the way out of that and to help you lift in your own vibration to one that matches joy. And so the second card is Earth Spirit. Well, of course it would be Earth Spirit. We're talking about the Earth. I didn't notice that before. What I noticed was stability is the word on the card. So your message for us, Quasar, with this: stay on stable ground. Stay true to yourself. Do not allow your beliefs to hold your beliefs sacred. Hold your beliefs in this oneness, in unity consciousness, in this 5th dimensional frequencies. Hold them sacred in your heart. Do not give in to fear. Do not run and hide. stand your ground, stand in your truth, stand in your strength, your power, your might. This is all about personal sovereignty. This is all about taking charge of your own path to liberation, to freedom. You are a freedom fighter, and you came to fight for your own freedom of self and freedom of others who are bound to the rules and the regulations and the ideas that we are restricted even through space and time is an illusion in effect. We are all one. We are all liquid in a sense. We are all sound and vibration, seeking to harmonize with each other in a way that comes into alignment with our fullest strength and power. And that's all about knowing how to utilize our power and going back to the universal forces of nature, staying stable within our own groundedness and anchoredness to the earth. So this isn't about ascension is not about floating up to the higher frequencies to meet them there. It's all about drawing these higher frequencies down so that they can come into the earth and come back up and out, kind of like the toroidal effect. That is spinning. It's moving the energy. This is where the breath work becomes important. This is where being in nature becomes important. This is where the transmutation work becomes important. We have to stay clear, he's showing. We have to remain clear channels of love and light. We have to hold our vibration clear, and that's what he means by holding our heart sacred, holding this fifth dimensional frequency as sacred within the vault of our heart. Do not let anyone stand in your way of your own truth, power, and liberation, for this is what's going to free the planet. This is what's going to allow more disclosure to come in, more knowledge to come in. Once that knowledge starts to spread, then it spreads like wildfire, and you'll be surprised at how you can know how fast a wildfire can spread. So it's going to burn everything in its path. It's going to burn all false truth, all falseness in its path, in its wake. It's not gonna take no for an answer, he's saying. It's going to just show you what is and what it is to be, and all of that like death and transformation that the fire energy is bringing in is going to transmute what's ready essentially to be changed. It's not necessarily just the dark. It's just a catalyst for change. There's just new growth on the horizon. Something new wants to be birthed. This is a part of an evolutionary cycle and process. So you must remember that it's not necessarily that what was before was wrong or bad. It's not to be judged in that sense. It's to be looked upon as a cycle of change and evolution, a growth cycle, a human growth cycle, where humanity is growing all at once. You're all moving together up a notch in your level of consciousness and frequency and dimension. So it's really important to anchor those energies in and be, serve as the anchor of light, serve as the pillar of light, he's saying. Where you just, all these light codes can come down and there's no resistance within, there's no blockages of energy within, and then all will be revealed as the codes come in. You'll see really clearly, it'll show up very clearly in your life what's no longer serving you and the ways you're being called to make shifts and changes to get more in alignment with these energies. So it's just constant, re-centering oneself to stay on stable ground. The ground is moving. It's moving under your feet, but you can move with it in a way where you cannot tell that you are actually physically moving. You can see that you've shifted. If you look back, you'll see, oh, I was standing there and now I'm standing here, but you won't necessarily energetically feel like you're moving. You're just going to notice the changes, and it's the same concept as riding the wave, only he's using the earth as the wave here in this sense. But the physical earth that we stand on, the ground that we stand on. So know where you stand. Know the ground that you stand on, he's saying as well. And know the strength of the ground on which you stand on, beneath your feet, how it supports you, how it holds you, how it keeps you stable and gives you strength. And so that's the type of energy we want to gather within our own system as well. We want to use the earth energy for grounding and for helping us to stay stabilized through the changes coming in. And so there's one more card I wanted, when I saw these two cards come out, I felt like I wanted a clarification card too, or just another card to help clarify the message. And so that came from, the last card comes from the Oracle of the Seven Energies deck by Colette Baron Reed. And so this was the card that came out, kind of a clarifying card for all the messages that were shared. And it says, beyond the ordinary. And what really drew me about this card was also you kind of see a lot of the rainbow light represented here, but there's a lot going on in this picture. There's a human, but you see the galactic aspects kind of peeking out. And then you also see like the angelic, or like kind of almost looks like fur kind of growing around. It's like the nature aspects. I feel like it's like all of the aspects of our sacred self, and all the ways that we're connected to everything, and that we hold the knowledge of everything within us as well, is what I'm being shown. And it says beyond the ordinary. So let me see what Quasar wants to share about this card. Expect the unexpected, he's saying. Beyond the ordinary, beyond your imagination, beyond what you could even imagine in this moment, what the potentials are, what could be true in the future. You won't even recognize yourselves. You'll get to a point in your transformation process that you will not even recognize the being that you were before this transition, before this ascension, before this time of change, of great change, he's calling it. You won't even recognize that creature anymore. You will have lost connection with that person because you will have gained connection with Source. So you're moving from the ordinary to beyond the ordinary, is what he's saying. So what was ordinary, what was known as ordinary to you, is a thing of the past. What was known as extraordinary to you is the thing of the future. So the path of the future is what he's actually saying. It's where the path of least resistance is taking you. It's where the flow is taking you into the unknown, into the magical realms, into the earthly magical realms. And that's what he wants you. He's showing, like, connecting to the heart of the elemental kingdom. Again, it's the elemental kingdom can give you eyes to see what looks like an ordinary space or place in time has all of the magic of these elemental forces within it and around it, because of the elements, the earth, the wind, the fire, the water, but also all of the guides that exist there beyond the veil, beyond what we have been taught to actually see with our physical eyes. We will begin to feel, sense, perceive, and see with our mind's eye the truth of the reality and the magical reality that is just beyond our vision. This is all possible now with these changes and these energies and the way these energies are flowing like a river on the earth. It's really waking us all up to this creation, to the beauty of the creation that and the magic of the world that we live in. So this is really what Earth is. He's showing me like Earth to like kind of is almost turning into like what you would consider like a magical fairy kingdom in like a fantasy novel, like where, you know, there's earth, there's fairies, and there's gnomes, and there's sprites, and there's divas, and there's pixies, and there's all these like cool little beings around that you can play with and see, and experience the joy of having these little nature friends around you, and elves. And he's really just showing that, like, what was once fiction will become nonfiction, is another way of putting it. Will become the reality. So that is the reality you're moving into, and that is a message we would like to leave you with at this time, dear ones. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up today to hear this very powerful message of ascension for Mother Earth and all of her beautiful earthly beings of love and light. And so it is, and shall be done. Beautiful. Wow. He's also saying goodbye for now, so it feels like he will be back. He's a wise elder of the Elven Kingdom, and he wishes for all of you to connect more with your Elven spirits and the Elven within you, that speaks within you, that speaks from within you. He's showing you all have a connection to these earthly kingdoms. And he's showing a connection to Lemuria, which he was kind of talking about before I got on this recording, but now I remember. He's the wise elders of the ancient kingdom known as Lemuria. So he spoke with the tribes of Lemuria, and he was with us at that time as more of an active guidance structure. He's showing this hierarchy of elves and council, and they're coming back. They're returning to humanity because there was a call for help, but also because there's a call for remembrance. So the call for help is really a call for remembrance, to remember, there are many of us who seek to remember our Lemurian lives, but also to remember our history with the elves. It's kind of like he kind of shows it like the movie Lord of the Rings, where the humans and the elves and the dwarves and all of these different kingdoms were serving as one. We're kind of fighting together. So that is the coming together that is taking place right now, as many of you are awakening to your own wizard, like Gandalf abilities. That archetype is really strong right now as well, that we are rising to meet our higher selves and our higher mission and purpose, as we lead the charge, as we're being called to lead the charge, to help others awaken through their own process, is what he's showing. And he just keeps showing rainbow light. I'm hearing rainbow light, and he's saying to look for the word rainbow, and you're going to start to see a lot of rainbow symbology, like in the physical, presenting, and it is to wake you up. It is to help you. It's the wisdom code. So it might be presented to you in a myriad of ways, but be observant, and know that when you look at a rainbow, think of these codes coming in, and open, give your body permission to receive them, or intentionally breathe them in, or intentionally like feel them coming through opening your crown and coming in. So it's the rainbow serves as a reminder for these frequencies and activations that are happening on a collective and grander scale, and will continue to happen. It's not just a one-time thing. It's this portal, this gateway of summer solstice energy is brought. Part of it has brought these codes forward more. They've been coming in for a while, but it's just we're waking up to it, and we're seeing it more clearly now, and it's all part of that great reset, purge, and deluge. Truth reset is what he's saying. So look for the patternings in the synchronicities in your physical world, that this is actually taking place on a higher energetics, from a higher energetics perspective, because you're even hearing the term the Great Reset being used. This is being used by like the other side of the spectrum, but can also be a catalyst for your own growth and awakening through the remembrance of how these codes are here to serve you, how this reset is here to serve you in your higher growth and evolution. So remember this, dear ones, when you hear these words and you tune to these higher frequencies and messages and meanings, so as not to get stuck in the fear vibration, because that is where the trap lies, essentially. So for you, it's about being the joy and living in the joy and living in the bliss and being excited for the changes to come, not fearful of the changes to come. Very important, he's saying. Very important. He didn't stress this enough, so he's coming back around with it one more time, he feels. Yeah, to share that. Is that all, Quasar? He wishes you to call on him as a guide anytime you like. It feels like his energy is very close to all of us. It's kind of around all of us, kind of like that dragon type energy. He's really stepping forward as like one of the main elders who's here to serve humanity. So it feels like all of you who are listening can call him in as a guide and to be a part of, as a member of your spirit team as well. So thank you very much, Quasar. What beautiful messages. Thank you so much for stepping forward today. It took me a while to figure out who wanted to come forward. I wasn't getting his name coming right away, but I was getting Galactic Being. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, this, that, this, like what galactic being do I know that is kind of an ascended master, but isn't, you know, in the deck of cards that I have here of the Keepers of the Light. I was getting tricked on that one when he first started to come in, and then finally my mind got it. It was like, wait a minute, is this Quasar? And he was like, yes. So really fun to connect with him. And yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think of these messages that he shared with us, how you guys are perceiving the changes going on in your own life and in the ways you're feeling these energies. And also if you feel called to connect with Quasar as a guide, I'd love to hear your experiences about that. Please don't forget to like the video. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell. There's definitely more to come from the elemental kingdoms for sure. And the dragons, and there's just a lot happening on Earth right now, so I'm really excited about the messages that he shared today, and I hope you are too, and I hope it brought a little bit of peace of mind, clarity, and joy into your life. So looking forward to the next time I see you guys again, hopefully in my group. If you're not a part of it, please sign up. And also my Patreon group too. Don't forget about that. I do personalized messages on there and very exclusive content, giveaways, things like that. So check that out in the descriptions box. And that's all for now. We'll see you next time. Bye.